Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most important frameworks for workplace safety. We're talking about the protocols of operational integrity, all bundled up in what the pros call Clause 8. Think of it as the ultimate blueprint for keeping things running not just smoothly, but safely.
So it all kind of boils down to this, right? Is the difference just luck? Not even close. The real game changer is having a plan that's clear, written down, and something you can actually do. I mean, just think about it. Safety experts will tell you that the huge majority of workplace incidents aren't random. Nope, they're usually the predictable result of a broken process. The answer isn't just reacting to problems, it's building a whole system designed to stop them from ever happening.
Okay, so let's jump right in. Here's our game plan for today. We're going to walk through the 5 core pillars of operational control. We'll start with the basic idea and then build our way up to how a great organization gets ready for pretty much anything.
First things first, let's get a handle on what we're even talking about. When we say Clause 8, I don't want you to picture some dusty, abstract rule in a forgotten manual. See it for what it is, a strategic blueprint for how a top-tier organization runs its business, day in and day out.
And there it is. The most important part is right there in the definition. This is not about winging it. It's not about relying on improvisation when things get busy. It's about having a documented, repeatable system that makes sure safety and efficiency are baked into everything you do, not just some afterthought you tack on at the end.
All right, let's build on that with our first pillar. You see, the absolute foundation of any safe operation is proactive planning. This is where the real work begins long before anyone even sets foot on the production floor.
And that's the magic word right there, before. This whole thing is about a mindset shift. We need to move away from asking what went wrong and start asking what could go wrong. It's all about actively hunting down potential problems and dealing with them systematically so they never even get a chance to hurt someone.
Now this is a really important distinction to make. The hazard is the thing, that wet floor, that faulty wire. The risk is the chance that thing will actually cause a problem. See the difference? Real operational control means you're managing both. You can eliminate the hazard, fix the wire, or you can reduce the risk by putting up signs and making sure people have protective gear. You need a strategy for both.
So, once you've got a handle on your current hazards, you're hit with the next big challenge: change. New equipment, different processes, new team members. Change is the one thing you can always count on. And that brings us to our next pillar. How do you manage all that change without accidentally creating brand new risks in your carefully built system?
And this process here is just brilliant. It's a structured, common-sense approach that makes sure every single change, whether it's a massive new machine or just a tiny tweak to a procedure, is handled with control. You check for risks, you get approval, and, this is so critical, you review it later to make sure it's actually working. This simple process stops good ideas from turning into tomorrow's disasters. Let's be real, your operation doesn't exist in a bubble, right? You've got suppliers, contractors, all sorts of partners. This brings us to a super important pillar, making sure your high standards for safety extend to everyone you work with. You've got to make sure that your integrity doesn't stop at your company's front door.
This table lays it out perfectly. It all starts with what you buy, procurement, making sure the stuff coming into your building is safe from the get-go. Then it extends to the contractors working on your site. Are they following your safety rules? And yeah, it even applies to work you outsource. Your commitment to safety has to be woven into every single business relationship.
And that brings us to our final pillar. Because look, no matter how perfectly you plan, things can and sometimes will go wrong. The best-run companies aren't the ones where nothing ever fails. They're the ones that are prepared when it does. And that is all about emergency readiness.
The most important word on this slide is testing. It's not enough to have a plan sitting in a binder, collecting dust on a shelf. You have to run drills. You have to test your equipment. You have to make sure every single person on your team knows exactly what to do when an alarm goes off. That's what turns a piece of paper into a life-saving response.
So as you can see, when we put it all together, these 5 pillars aren't just separate ideas you can check off a list. They are all deeply connected, parts of one strong, robust system. You've got solid planning and emergency prep as the bookends, and in the middle, you have careful management of change, procurement, and contractors. Together, they create that complete framework for total operational control.
And really, this quote says it all. The big takeaway here is that Clause 8 and all these principles, they're not just about avoiding fines or ticking boxes on a form. At their core, they're about building organizational resilience. That ability to adapt, to respond, and to keep going, even when you're hit with something unexpected.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. Take another look at these 5 pillars. In your own workplace, which one are you absolutely knocking out of the park? And more importantly, which one might be your biggest opportunity for improvement? Just answering that question is the very first step to building an even safer, more resilient operation. Thanks for joining me.